Creating forms in Design View requires diving into a new design environment that looks different than what we've seen previously. I would like to take a few minutes and just have a look around before we start to create a new form in this view. I'm going to start by going to the Create tab, and in the Forms group, choose Form Design. This will jump us into a new design view for a new form. On the ribbon, we've got 3 new contextual tabs. The first is the Design tab. This tab has options for changing our view, here on the left, adjusting our font and color themes, a large group of control objects that we can add to our form, settings for our form's header and footer, and some form design tools that we'll be making use of shortly. The next tab is the Arrange tab. Most of these tools deal with the layout view, but over here on the right you'll find sizing and ordering. These tools will help us precisely align our objects within the grid. The next tab over is the Format tab. The Format has sections for selecting objects, adjusting our font, color, and size, adjusting our number formatting, adding a background image, or changing the alternate row color of our records, and some control formatting options, such as quick styles, changing their shape, or adjusting their fill, outline, or special effects. The rest of the form is currently just a big empty area for us to place our objects. It has a dot and grid pattern in the background to help us align things together. We can click and drag on the edges if we need some additional space to work. I can scroll down as well and grab the bottom and bring it up so I can see the bottom of my form. And I'll scroll back up. Moving objects around in Design View is slightly different than what you might be used to if you've ever worked with a layout program such as PowerPoint or Publisher. I'm going to go to the Controls group on the Design tab of the ribbon and grab this tool here with the lowercase a/b and a rectangle around it. This is a text box. The text box control will typically be linked to a data source, such as a field from a table. It will be where we will type when we want to edit a record. Clicking the object essentially picks it up. I like to think of these controls groups as a toolbox. I've picked up the tool, and my cursor changes to reflect the objects I'm currently holding. I'll click once in the blank form area to drop the object. Now you'll see that the cursor returns to the standard arrow. When I added a text box, I actually get a text box here and a label. The text box is the white one on the right. This is where our data will appear. The piece on the left, this is a label. Labels are static text that are informative in nature. They stay the same when you cycle from record to record. Now I can move the objects around by clicking on the orange highlighted edge. If you click here and drag, you can see that they both come together. In order to move the objects independently, you'll need to use the large handle in the upper left-hand corner. I'll click it here on the label and drag it on top of the text box. Now if I try moving the text box, you'll see that they maintain this new arrangement. If you'd like to resize your objects, just click on the handles that are on the other edges of the bounding boxes. For instance, I'll make this text box wider. I can click on the label and make the label wider as well. At any point, we can switch into Form View using the View button up here at the top. I'll press that and I'll go to my working view. Notice if you wanted to go back into Design View, you can't use the toggle button here at the top. But if I use the lower half of the View button, this will give me the list where I can switch into Design View. Of course, you can always also use these icons down here on the bottom right to switch into Design View here. I'll switch back to Form View. Notice that in Form View, we also no longer see the adjustment bounding boxes or that dot grid that appeared in the background. Working with the Design View of forms takes a little bit of practice because it may look a little different from many of your other experiences. But once you get used to some of its quirks, you'll be assembling custom forms in no time.